Bless the mic, bless the mic, TV, the magazine.
I come from out of Suffolk, Virginia, which is the Hampton Roads area in Virginia, the hot spot. So
please give it up for Spoken Word, everybody. Now give it up. This is Train of Thought.
I came all the way down here from VA, and I'm a Poetic Works member. You heard E. Michelle. She's the owner and founder of that. So I just came down here to represent for her. The next poem that I'm going to do, it is called The Real American Dream. Understand your purpose. Live your life, embrace your dreams, and focus on the important things in life. Focus on what makes you happy. Baby girls often look up to that male figure in their life, but what happens when that figure becomes a figment of your imagination? What happens when the love that she has for him turns into hatred because someone that brought her in this world is nowhere to be found? Instead, he's off holding somebody else's family down because it's more pleasing to himself. Who can find the virtue in a woman that no longer cries because she doesn't feel that her tears serve any purpose? Or who can find the virtue in a woman that deprives herself of love because the most important man in her life has treated her as if she wasn't worth it? Stress doesn't have a complexion like situations do because society has placed us in a jungle and expects us to produce fruit in their so-called land of the free and home of the brave. But in my ghetto, all we see is land of the deceased and home of the slaves. There's no virtue in a woman that has fallen a victim to the streets. There's no virtue, no peace, no sleep for a mother that has to live with the fact that her son was gunned down in the middle of some drug war or by the police. And the government only sends their condolences because to them he's just another refugee that resides in a refugee camp that's built up on Section 8 and HUD housing grants. Guilty by social economic status. Guilty. Another black nigga out the way is what they would say. But he's not just another nigga. He's the baby of a mother that's mentally in prison because she lost virtue when her husband went to prison. He's the son of a man that doesn't care how he's living. He's the statistic that psychologists studied and wrote about. He's that black nigga that Bill Cosby did, as if he knows anything about the ghetto after crack hit. Damn near every person in my hood was slinging that shit, and little chicks would turn tricks just to get a hit. Why? Because she's been getting raped by her step-pop since age 2. And when you down in the ghetto, people don't show no love to you. Only a touch from God can heal you, restore you, give you back your virtue, help you love you, protect you from those that are trying to hurt you. If God be for you, it's more than a whole world that's against you. Can't nobody take what a virtuous woman has been through and still produce fruit. Her wisdom is worth listening to. She's the salt of the earth, founder of birth, king of the castle when a nigga starts tripping. She's your cover girl, model, God's greatest invention. Leader, teacher, distributes motherly love to those who need her. And if you hungry, for sure, she'll feed you. I call her my African queen, a.k.a. the real American dream. Woo. Yes.
Bless the mic, bless the mic, TV, the magazine.
You are armchair revolutionary. You are armchair revolutionary. See, you talk a good one every time I come through, but the real question is what you gonna do. You are armchair revolutionary. You are Garveyite and never been to Africa. Double Muslim and never been to Mecca. Disciple of King and never waged a boycott. Never went to a rally when one of our folks got shot by the cops. Never told a young cat to stop selling rocks. You just blah, blah, blah. Talk about everything under the sun, moon, and stars. Grew some dreads and talk about Jah. Shaved your head and talk about Allah. Got hit with some curveballs in life and turned to Christ. Went Pentecostal and started talking voodoo. You too through. Yo, you talk a good one every time I come through, but the real question is what you gonna do. You are armchair revolutionary. You talk about Mumia, forgot about H.Rap Brown, and all the other political prisoners on lockdown. You talk about the mother plane and acid rain and extraterrestrials and how we celestial, but forgot about Amadou getting shot in the vestibule. You always talking shit you thought nobody else knew. I peeped the speculation section at Barnes and Nobles. Coming with Farrakhan and Dr. back to York while swining and dining with pork on your fork. You complain about the Hispanic population escalating and how come nobody cares about us and why they move away from us. It makes me wonder, in whose God you trust. See, you talk a good one every time I come through, but the real question is what you gonna do. You are armchair revolutionary. You talk about the Arabs and Africans and Europeans and how they slaved the Nubians and brought us over here. Our culture was robbed because of them. We ain't got no jobs. And the little people in the shops looking up at us from 4'2", like we gonna steal something from next door. And why we shouldn't buy from them no more. And how the man made AIDS so we can't hit chicks raw. How Ashcroft took away our civil laws and rights. And how come black folk too scared to fight. See, you talk a good one every time I come through, but the real question is what you gonna do. You are armchair revolutionary. And then you talk about the kids. The kids! You call them generation crap. And why they wear their pants like that, with them rags on their heads. But you never took the time to talk to one of them. But you consider them trifling niggas that are about to pull triggers on each other when they should join the revolution that only seems to exist in your head. You talk about everybody from light-skinned to multiracial to bourgeois when ain't nobody thinking about you, Pop. You talking about sisters that crossed over, lesbians, gays, politicians, the elephant and the donkey, while you sit in front of the TV with the remote like the brass monkey, flunky, or crack junkie, like a black Archie Bunker, but talking about the honky. See, you talk a good one every time I come through, but the real question is, what you gonna do? You are armchair revolutionary, and you need to shut the fuck up. Peace. Thank you.
Bless the mic, bless the mic, TV, the magazine. Bless the mic, TV, and magazine. Bless the mic,
The last poem, it could be explicit. I don't know if I hope I'm not offending you when I use the word nigga, but it's used often all the time. So when I express it in my poem, it's not to really go against my brethren, but it's described to you how we're described and how we're looked at in this world. And so the last piece that I will perform is called I Am That Nigga. My mind is too occupied with my everyday life, raising kids while dodging sin or the next man tedious thoughts on how I should live. I live life according to the way that it is given. I try to make the best out of a bad situation so that I can stay in the land of the living. Who am I? I am the reflection of Alex Haley's queen with a heart of Sojourner Truth purchased to breed. I am that seed that was murdered at birth so that my mother could set me free from the captivity of her slave master, or maybe the next slave master. I am the daughter of that strange fruit swinging from that there tree. All because when they decided to sell me away, he took me and tried to escape. And when they captured him, they spit in his face and said, that there's my property. I was taught that black princesses doesn't exist. It's just a myth that was spread amongst ourselves so that we could hope for a better day. We was taught that it was useless to hope and pray because the righteousness doesn't have a black face. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is busy investing in the slave trade. It's okay. They're inhuman anyway. I am that nigga that used the word nigga as a reminder of the bloodsheds of my ancestors so that I would never forget their blood, sweat, and tears and fears that were instilled in little black boys and girls that have seen their mothers raped, that have seen the look of humiliation on their daddy's face when the beatings took place. Willie Lynch said, if you do this in front of his wife, Through her fears, you can control his life for generations. And later on, they will grow hating one another, making it impossible to be free even after the emancipation. I am that nigga that used the word nigga as a reminder of the injustices we face. Black-coded even today. Through Oscar Grant, Michael Vick, the Jenna Six, Antoine McQuay, Kevin Richardson, Raymond Santana, Yusuf Salam, Kari Wise, and all those who have served time for crimes that they did not commit, while greedy wives who killed their husbands and buried their remains served 10-year sentences. Change doesn't come from one man's election, but from the understanding of this, that good fruit is produced by those that have been forgotten, the castaways. They pray only for a better day, because life ain't always been easy, and if they can make it to that better day, through God, they will somehow find a better way to love. Thank you. Who knows what she is going through? I mean, she cries, but her tears are ignored. She laughs just to cover up the pain. She sings in a spirit of joy, but at night, she remembers it all. She remembers the way he almost took her soul, damaging the way she moves, thinks, feels, lives, loves, and breathes. Her concept of life is far from God's reality, you see. She believes that love doesn't exist and satisfaction of life only comes when you're rich. But this nigga that she with ain't trying to hear nothing about her dreams. Failed to treat her like a queen, now her self-esteem is all messed up. She expects nothing but bad, cause since day one that's just been a luck. But until she can get to the point where she can say that enough is enough, she'll continue to hurt and she'll continue to cry. And her dependency on this man will continue to give her a messed up life. In her mind, wrong is right, far from what that little girl feels inside. That little girl cries tears that goes unseen because she's faced monsters in her dreams, you see. She calls them monsters so that she won't have to face the reality of her walls being torn down by unwanted sex, or go through the process over and over again of a perverted pedophile claiming he was born like that at his lawyer's defense. She's been called every name in the book because she didn't lie, so she embraced the first guy that claimed to really love her. I mean, he was different. He didn't force her to have sex, but behind closed doors, he called her hoes and bitches, made her feel like she was ugly and like no one else wanted her. But when she cried, he hugged her as he told her he loved her. Why shouldn't she believe him? He never hit her, but once. That was that time he got angry because she didn't feel like having sex. Pushed her around, called her hoes and bitches until she snapped. All she saw was that monster in her dreams, but failed to treat her like a human being. Tube to the chest, tube to the back, another one to the hand, leg, feet, and knees. She's free. That monster no longer exists, at least in our reality, because our concept of life is far from what she believes. Her past controls the way she moves, thinks, feels, lives, loves, and breathes. Another victim of the system, another victim of society. And she says being locked away has set her free from our reality. From our reality.
Bless the mic. Bless the mic.